I'm not exactly sure why OBS crashed there. Hopefully, I'm back fine here. Does look like that. That's very odd. Yeah, it says OBS crash. Unfortunate. I mean, it's not like anyone was even here, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, yeah. I mean, the main reason I even started this. Actually, no, actually, I did. But yeah, I just it's more so just so I can have it at least one person to at least be understood. Oh hi. Hi Mark. She walked back into the room. Yeah, no, I now she's staring at the ceiling. I don't know what's up there. But no, I will hold on, let me take a drink. I kind of said my piece on this video, so
Damn.
I said my piece. But yeah, it's like it's insane that he even thought that would be something. I've seen this. I haven't seen his opinion on this, but I seen that Netflix was going to acquire Warner Bros. I guess this is a good time to say, yeah, uh, my Unhinged Ramblings will be political at points. Um, but I seen this and it's like, how do we let monopolies? This is gonna be a monopoly, right? Is it going to be a monopoly? These are huge companies merging together as one. So obviously that is what you would call a monopoly, right? Um, yeah. But you sorry, hold on. This dude said he became viral. He has 0 followers. So I'm not sure that's right. Anyways, let me get rid of this message. Okay, well, how do we get rid of this message? Can pin do something like that. Huh? How do I how do I manage? Oh, use chat maybe? Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. I'm so new, especially on Twitch. I yeah, how to moderate the chat. When it comes to people like that, it's just stupid. Let me see. Look it up real quick. Okay, I did it. I didn't even know there were commands you do like this. Okay. Ooh, let me block dude. Okay. Clearly that's just a bot. Um, I mean, it was made in 2020. Or, yeah, 2020. It was made in 2020, but I it's gonna report as well. Spam. Spam. I guess it was scam. They were gonna claim it was malicious. I don't know if it is. I'm not clicking that link, so. Oh no, I can just do that. Okay. I can just click his name. That's good to know. I haven't done stream, so I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, anyways, no, I guess like the Netflix deal. Let's it's uh, Netflix deal. Not sure what that means. Of course, it is. Uh, there should, but Jared Kushner. I don't know who Jared heard them, but I forget. But you see this, it's like how. Oh yeah, we need U.S. Justice System, the Department of Justice to interfere with it. Will they? Probably not. And this is where it comes political, right? Uh, I'm not gonna say that I hate Trump. Don't like him, but I'm not gonna say I hate him. And it's not necessarily due to the fact that mainstream media always fucking says negative shit about him. It's not at all the reason. I hate him for a different reason. I guess dislike him rather is a more appropriate word in this case. But it's not necessarily just hate him. I hate all politicians. I and hate is an appropriate word for politician. I hate all politicians. They're all corrupt. And yeah, I've seen some people, you know, say this. I have seen takes that are similar to this, that all politicians are pretty much corrupt, but they they're not as more, or they're not as plentiful as I would like, especially since we need to do something about it. But with everyone seeming, I guess, complicit in it, just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. So we need more people talking about how just corrupt they are. But no, essentially, I'm seeing this. I'm like, how can that let that happen? Well, I'll tell you, because the government politicians are on the boards of these companies, and this makes them money. It's all to do with money. That's essentially all it is. Politicians are just greedy. Like, they have money, right? But they have the power to continue making money. They essentially just want to continuously upgrade their lavish lifestyles, right? They don't want to, they don't care about anyone else because they have the money, right? They're living the lifestyle they want. And if it hurts pretty much everybody else, who cares? Because not them that's getting hurt by it. And I think the worst part is, and it's a very, very black pilled mindset. And at this point, I have a very, very black pilled mindset. Um, it's gotten to the point where it's like you see coups in Africa, right? They have empty promises of what they will do, right? How they'll be so good. And it just becomes either worse or same as the last regime that was in charge. Uh they get into power, say, "Oh, I'll relinquish my power here. Just give me a second. Just give me a second." Uh kills all his dissenters, and there's like, well, maybe I won't. There's so many people trying to overthrow us. I think we should stay in power for right now. Or they purposely sabotage even the progress, so they do stay in power. It's like, well, that would pretty much happen everywhere as well. Uh, I think in America, if that happened and we successfully overthrew the government, um, even if we could at this point, because I, the only way I see it is if the economy, the AI bubble bursts. Everybody then understands, or more, I guess, more so masses all come together and agree that, oh, actually, I guess this is really bad. This is really bad, isn't it? Now we can't actually afford anything, like most people in America thinking that. But it's not to the point where civil unrest is at a peak. It's just more divided. I think America is just too divided right now, and too divided on the worst fucking issues, especially since the the elite, the ruling class want that. They want the division, so they can stay in power, right? Um, if the masses, if America becomes united, then their position of power is going to be greatly, um the word, greatly, can't even think of the word. In jeopardy, I guess. Um, to be greatly in trouble, right? Because then we would actually band together and overthrow the government. But with America just being divided like we are, it plays into their hand because we could never get enough traction to do much of anything actually. And so yeah, that's just really sad to know. Really sad and very black pilled because you know you can't really do anything about it, right? There's not much you can even do about something like that because even if even if we as a not even just a country, but maybe let's say we represent or we elect a state representative, Congress or Senate, we doesn't really matter, and they are genuine, right? They they are genuine people. They're not gonna be engrossed in, I guess, not really extramarital affairs, but extra business affairs, right? Even if we did, they would pretty much not stay that way. They would either be outcast by the ruling party because they have views that go against them, right? Or they would just fall victim to the same mindset of uh, politicians at the moment, right? So even if we did try to do something like that, it wouldn't last long without us being collectively saying, you know what, we need to stick together. We need to know that politicians are not here for our best interest. They're not. They're there to make their own money. Um, even Nancy Pelosi, right? She apparently worth 100 or so million, right? Uh, Wait, Nancy, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, okay. See, a career politician that has $300 million. What? Okay, yeah, I know her husband is apparently some, let's see. Yeah. They own an investment firm. An investment firm. Brother, tell me how this makes sense. Make this make sense to me. How can anybody in government even own an investment firm that can legally invest into companies when they make the rules for those companies, right? Um, it just doesn't make sense to me. I've pondered this, you know, I a week or so ago, I was just livid, right? I was very like concerned about stuff. I was so concerned, in fact, that I turned my phone off and just talked to my dog about it. Like, it might sound like a crazy person, right? But I legitimately talked to my dog about this stuff, and I mean, it's more so just talking to myself because I don't think she really gives a fuck about what I'm saying, right? But it's like I talked to her for like an hour about just the corruption in government and just how it's so bad. Just I just don't understand it. I just can't. I just guess I can't understand how we've gotten to this point. How the the people of America have kept electing these old fucking people. Like they are old as dirt, man. But she's 80 some years old, right? 85 years. Yeah, she's 80 fucking 5 years old, man. And she's still in government. Not only, but she's 85 and still trying to make as much money as she can. Right? Like she's still trying to make more and more money. When she does, she can't take that with her, right? But I think the issue is more so. Oh, you know what? I even saw, the road work head guy. Yeah. Well, Drew, he just
Everybody keeps saying Drew.
nope. Where's yeah, right here. I watched this, and yeah, no, he brings up very good points. Um, he even brought up the fact that apparently 1% owns more than 15, or maybe it was top 10%. No, I think it was the top 1% has more money than, or more than 15 times the wealth of the bottom 50%. 15 times more than the entirety of half. Is that not insane? Like, I've been hearing pretty much all my life, really, that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And no, I definitely see it. I definitely see it. Um, it's pretty much all I've been seeing is like in my life. My parents are not that poor. They're not top 1% either, right? In fact, they make me work for myself, basically. They don't let me freeload off of them, which is a great thing, by the way. I'm not gonna say I hate them or anything because I do. I do love them. Okay, but they're making me work for everything, teaching me good values. And yeah, it's just like, well, I can't do anything. These really large companies are either laying you off or charging you do everything, right? They're charging an arm and a leg for their services. And not even that, but they're also harvesting your data, right? They are wanting to essentially be Big Brother. 1984 here. And I'm not trying to be sounding like a conspiracy theorist because this is not really a conspiracy theory. It's more so just fact, right? It's more so just fact. Um, because yeah, you will literally, or these companies will sell your data and they will record you. They will try to get all the information they can on you personally, right? And it's more so right now, I guess, just for advertisement purposes. But the government, oh yeah, I mean, I even touched on this earlier, but this right here, internet ads are hacking your phone now. The governments are using that. It's more so in because it's from an Israeli company being sanctioned. It's more so just the Middle East at the moment, but I think American government agencies will. I think he even touched on the fact that ICE does or has tried to buy something like this. Um, what they do is just infect your phone with an ad. They go to an ad agency with essentially a zero click, by the way. You don't even have to click on the ad. You just need to see it and it will infect your phone. Like that's insane. Okay. And the worst part is I think eventually this will become normalized. Like surveillance state will become normalized, and that's a huge fear to me because right now jobs are like that too. You know, we live in such a low trust society that even simple jobs will use their security cameras not for security anymore. They will use their cameras to watch the employees, make sure they keep on track or whatever. Like I'm a grown man, dude. I'm a grown man. I don't need you to watch me do the job. I will do the job. You don't need to watch me do it. And the worst part is, it doesn't matter. No, I don't have the money to start my own thing either, right? I don't want to take out $100,000 loan to start a business either, because if that business goes under or something, you're still on the hook for that $100,000, which working at jobs that you hate, you would not want to be doing that. And you know, so I don't want to do that, but I also don't want to work for a company that will watch you like a fucking hawk, dude. I mean, the last job I had, it was like they even admit this to you, right? They know you can't do anything about it, so they even admit to you. It's like, yeah, we watch cameras all day. In fact, we pretty much have someone that watches cameras all day. Not even a security guard, but it's just absurd to me. And nobody at that company even cared. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody there cared that our bosses would just watch you. Like they don't know how to do the job, but they will tell you how to do it, right? They'll tell you you're not doing it fast enough. And if you try to point that out, they will actually get mad at you and potentially fire you for it. Um you point out how stupid they sound or be insubordinate be an insubordinate. No. Yeah, no, you be insubordinate at all and they can just fire you for no reason. Or they can make up a reason. And then you can't even collect what unemployment either because they they will still try to keep their money, right? So I think it's just that's another reason I'm just completely blackpilled. It's like I see what's going on. I hate it. And it's just absurd to me. It's just absolutely absurd to me that society has gotten to this point where not only are we pretty much letting government watch you be a surveillance state and be completely fine with it, but we're letting our jobs do that too, which you can kind of just think as of your job as a small government. It's not. It has no legal authority on you, and you have to remember that. If they try to take your phone, they can't. But because have had someone or a company try to do that. They're like, "We're gonna take your phone." I'm like, "Well, you can't." So, no. But yeah, it's like shit like that is just absurd to me, man. I just I just don't know where we go as a society from here. Um, yeah, I just don't because people are. Yeah, I think as well that when I was growing up, this was 2000s. I'm not a 90s baby just yet, or I guess never will be a 90s baby. But um, I'm not 30 years old. I'm 25 actually. So, which is still old as shit, honestly. But when I was growing up in the 2000s, basically there was none of this. There was no mass surveillance like this. Computers weren't new, but they were new enough not to always be tracking you, essentially. It was basically the golden era of computers, right? Where they were powerful enough to connect everybody to a certain degree. It wasn't dial up, but it wasn't as surveillant. I don't something like that. Whatever. It's not like it is today, right? So, it, so I think all the stuff that's happening now is not normal, right? But um, kids today, they will find all this to be completely normal, and that is really scary to me because they'll find this to be normal and be like, "Oh, why would you want privacy? What? Who wants privacy?" You know what I'm saying? Like they they don't know what privacy is. I do because I grew up with privacy. Now I try to keep as much privacy as I can. Um, you can only keep it to some degree though, right? You can only keep as private as you can to a certain degree. And um, with governments putting like flock cameras, Ben Jordan actually right here,
You may remember me.
this guy right here, um, talked about flock cameras, and
Access point.
as you can see, there are concerning vulnerabilities. What, 20, 15 minutes? Nope, 20 minutes almost. um, I read it and it was like 40 or something actual vulnerabilities these cameras have, but your local government doesn't even care. Actually, wait. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah, the local government is because these are not from your local government. These cameras are from a company, third party company that they contract to put cameras up and monitor them. Tell me how this makes sense. It's not the government putting these cameras up. It's the government trusting a third party company who, by the way, will sell your data, right? And it, it can easily get hacked. Like there are literally so many vulnerabilities. I think again, I think you said like 40 or so vulnerabilities that these cameras have that foreign entities could just take take all the information they want from these cameras. They can literally watch the cameras themselves. It just doesn't make sense to me how government can do this stuff. They and then they also will claim it's for the safety of Americans, right? It's for the safety of Americans, but if you really look into it, it's not. It's not. We can have a safer society if we just really locked criminals up instead, right? Like if we just didn't let illegal people over here, we didn't keep criminals on the streets after 40 arrests, mind you. They're still allowed to be on the streets. If we just kept them in jail, maybe, just maybe, it could become a more trusting society again. And instead of spending billions on surveillance shit, we can spend that money on jails and the police. Now, I don't want, again, like I said, I don't want the police to be surveilling you at all times. Uh, but for having them have enough money to hire enough cops and enough prison guards and, if needed, to build more jails or in prisons. If we put that money into stuff like that, then yeah, we could probably have a more trusting society. But no, they would rather use AI cameras to track literally everybody's whereabouts. Um, I am old enough to know or remember when America didn't have so many cameras, or those cameras were just for security, right? I'm old enough to remember that kind of day. Um, and thinking, man, it's so nice living in a European country. I'm not even talking China right now. Like, they're they're always known as a surveillance state, but a Western society, Japan, they're not Western society, but they're a high trust society, but they have high surveillance as well, right? So sure, they're a higher kind of trusting society, but they're also very heavily monitored. Now, you could probably go to smaller cities in Japan. I've never gone, so I don't actually know this, but I would think smaller cities don't have as much surveillance, right? So you could still live in a relatively peaceful area without complete um, worry about being surveilled much. But in America, you can do that, I guess, too, as well in America, because smaller cities won't have the budget to surveil you at all points of the day, right? They won't have the budget to hire companies to put cameras up and con constantly be monitoring those cameras. So, there is that, but you can't nowadays step out into a larger city and not be watched, essentially. And it didn't used to be like that. It did not used to be like that. And in the European countries, like I was saying, they also have high surveillance. I mean, hell, the UK and even Australia, I think Canada too. They're no, they are making you put your driver's license in just to be on the internet, right? Like, I'm so glad that doesn't happen just to be on the internet, but it does happen still in America. That's the biggest thing as well. It still happens in America. Not to the same level of degree, you could still get on social media without having to prove you're 18 and older in America. But there are literally some sites you cannot get to without proving you're 18. And that is insane, especially since the Discord hack. Yeah, that's not at all. But yeah, no. I guess it's AI, but I don't really want to have AI. But uh, uh, yeah, see right here. Hackers were able to get those government ID contact details, like the addresses, right? Obviously, especially since the government ID and payment information. And you're telling me that this is supposed to help protect people by putting it into the hands of Discord. By the way, it's not a government agency that's collecting this information and then saying you are or not. It is a third party. Like, I use Discord. I'm not gonna sit here and grandstand about how you should not use Discord because of this. I still will use Discord if it gets to the point where I have to, you know, put this kind of information in it. No, I more than likely will not be using Discord anymore. Uh, so yeah, there is that, and yeah, it's just kind of insane to me that these companies are, or not any companies, but these governments are doing this shit. It's absurd to me. And I am glad that this is not a niche kind of topic or something not many people are talking about, because I have seen a good amount of people talking about how they don't want this. But you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. Like, our politicians don't give a fuck about what we think. That is also a huge issue. No matter, like, they're supposed to be voted in by us to do what we want, right? They're not supposed to do what the fuck they want. They're supposed to do what we as a collective society want them to do. But you know what they don't do? Exactly what I just said. They would rather do what the the companies want. You know, they get lobbied by companies to do their bidding. It's just so incredibly broken. The system is incredibly broken and corrupt. And I just can't stand it. So that's kind of why I wanted to just at least have my voice heard on this matter. Um, because I'm sure a lot of people are like me myself, right? They they can see that there are a couple of people that are kind of, sane in the head. They are mentally well, but then you got most people, because personally I just see most people are just stupid. They don't care. They don't care that their politicians are not doing what they are voted in to do, right? It's absurd to me. And I honestly don't like talking about politics, but it has to happen sometimes, especially when the political scene gets so fucking bad. And I'm not even talking right or left issues here. It's the entire system in general. Both sides are corrupt as fuck. Okay. I'm not saying I love Donald Trump. He has not done anything wrong. The media is lying about him. The media is lying about him. Let's get that straight. But he's also not an angel either. Um, I'm so glad he beat Kamala Harris, right? Because 4 years of the Biden campaign, I mean, we all know Biden wasn't running the company or the country. We all know Biden wasn't running the country. Who was? I don't exactly know, but uh, that is basically the same party as Kamala Harris. And if we had Kamala Harris, it would probably be much worse. It would probably just be so much worse. Um, because I do like a few things that Trump is doing, such as trying to get rid of illegal immigrants. Um, oh, you know what? I just saw this right here.
حل معانا كلا دول أو
Um, okay, that's it. This one. Sorry, but why is it?
Hey guys, welcome to Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's your meme of the day brought to you by FiveMind.com. You know, it's really fascinating. It seems like we're almost caught in this death loop, this socialist revolution that's running on repeat over and over again.
Basically, what this video is about is, um,
Eric Adams to break up.
It's rental housing, whatever kind of housing it is. If you are not connecting homeless New Yorkers to the housing, know your rights. If you encounter ICE, these are the things that every New Yorker
I
should
just
know.
want you to
First,
watch this.
ICE cannot enter into private spaces like your home, school, or a private area of your workplace without a judicial warrant signed by a judge. That looks like this. If ICE does not have a judicial warrant signed by a judge, you have the right to say, I do not consent to entry, and the right to keep your door closed. Sometimes ICE will show you paperwork that looks like this and tell you that they have the right to arrest you. That is false. ICE is legally allowed to lie to you, but you have the right to remain silent. If you're being detained, you may always ask, am I free to go, repeatedly, until they answer you. You are legally allowed to film ICE, as long as you do not interfere with an arrest. It is important to remain calm during any interaction with ICE or law enforcement. Do not impede their investigation, resist arrest, or run. One last thing. New Yorkers have a constitutional right to protest, and when I'm mayor, we will protect that right. New York will always welcome immigrants, and I will fight each and every day to protect, support, and celebrate our immigrant brothers and sisters.
Continuing this same.
All right, so you heard that. Well, no one actually heard that, but if you rewatch this, or I'll probably post something, but if you've seen this, it's insane because it's basically saying illegal immigrants have the right to. Now, I will say, ICE doesn't always only detain illegal immigrants. So, at first, you would think they have the right to do all this. They have the rights from the Constitution. But if you're illegal, tell me, if you're illegal, how do you have any constitutional rights at all? You're illegally here. You're not supposed to be here. And you have legal rights? If you come here and illegally and then you try to become legal, or you just become legal, you come here legally in the first place, that is fully different to me. That is completely different to me. If you come here for asylum, or you come here, I guess asylum is the legal way, but if you come here legally, everyone legally here have no issues, man. I really don't. I don't have a single issue with people coming to this country legally. In fact, like I already stated, I am legally an immigrant here too. So I have nothing against them. It's just, when illegal immigrants come over, not even necessarily taking our jobs, I haven't really had that much of an issue. It might be more so where I live, but I haven't really had that much of an issue with illegal immigrants taking jobs away from Americans. But I have seen how they are bringing a lot of drugs in the country. Now, I love drugs, I will say that, but it becomes a point of like you can't just allow all these drugs into the country. Now, you could argue though, maybe if we let all these drugs into the country, that you know the druggies will die. They'll basically die off. So why not just allow it and then they get rid of themselves? There's something to that, I guess. But at the same time, we we really shouldn't. We probably shouldn't allow that. Because drugs can lead to crime. They can lead to crime because you're not even in your right headspace, right? You're not in the same sober mindset. So you might try to do something different that you wouldn't do. So yeah, I mean, that's I guess one thing. But yeah, I think it's more so illegal immigrants are not supposed to be here. They take benefits away. Like I've seen 40 million people. Let's see, benefits or whatever. App benefits. App benefits. Okay. So 40 million Americans are receiving it. 75 don't have a job. Now it depends honestly if they're trying to get a job or not. To me, if they're trying to get a job, I have no problem. If they're not, then what are we doing? They're freeloading. But I've seen something. Also, this is just fucking stupid. This is stupid. That makes no sense, really. I mean, even if it did, makes sense that $1 turned to almost $2. That might be like total volume. Total volume, you pay $1 and then the company pays something, right? Pays $1 to somewhere else. That would be $2 in total volume. I think that might be what that is. And people like this are thinking $1 turns magically into $1.50. That doesn't make any sense. I don't I don't know. I don't know. You can correct me on that, but that's what I think is going on here. But let me see. Um I saw about something that there were a ton of illegal immigrants using it. I can't find it here, but I've seen that where you will get a ton of illegal immigrants using SNAP benefits. How can we let that happen? How does that work? If I couldn't get SNAP benefits myself, how are illegal immigrants getting it? They're not supposed to be here in the first place. They don't have a social security number to even give them. So again, I just guess I don't understand how these people can get so much money from the government when people like me who are working class cannot get anything like that. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. Like honestly, all I just want to live in the woods. I will not live in the woods, but I want to just live on my own in a more secluded area. Um, just in a little shack if have to. Um, with more modern amenities, sure. Um, but my best life would just be kind of in a secluded area away from surveillance. Although Ruby Ridge happened, but there'd be no reason to surveilling me to be surveilling me. So I wouldn't even have to worry about something like that. I just have my dog run around as much as she wants. That's why I want the woods because she loves the woods. There's a small little patch of trees here, but it's nothing compared to like woods because I've taken her to the woods and she just goes mental, right? She goes mental. So I just want a little area not being constantly watched by others. and just in a secluded area. Of course, I want family and friends there too, right? I don't want to be a hermit, essentially, never see a single other person because that will go, that will go, or I will go mental at that point. But you know, I want an area just to relax, and that would be that place. Um, oh yeah, it's oh well, because I don't have the money for that. Like, what the fuck? you know, maybe if I was living in 1960s or whatever, I'd be able to gain that kind of money, but definitely not now. It's definitely not now. Because like I said already, like companies don't give a fuck about you. And yeah, it's just insane to me, honestly. Um yeah, no, I just think it's insane. That's kind of why I wanted my voice to be at least out there. So because if I died early or whatever, I still doubt this will be ever heard by a lot of people. But at least it's there. You know what I'm saying? At least thought process is there for any like-minded individuals. Um, kind of like, yeah, we need to do something about all this stuff. Like, I know I wouldn't want to be a leader or a manager rather, because I mean, I could, I guess, be a leader, but like in current companies, I more than likely could not be a a manager because I understand how the working class underneath you feel. I've I've obviously been there. I know what it feels like to be micromanaged, be continuously watched, and it is literally mentally draining. It is soul sucking, mentally draining. And I don't want to do that to other people. So I would not be a very good manager because I wouldn't constantly breathe down my employees' necks. I still try to get things done, but unless those employees were not doing anything in general, I could not breathe down their neck to be more productive. So yeah, I guess that's something. Um 31. It's weird because yeah, I haven't that's my second tweet ever. I did this one. I actually didn't have Twitch set up at this. I do now, but I didn't have Twitch set up like literally at all at this point. So, yeah. Yeah, no, this 100% correct as well. So, I think I'm gonna at least wrap things up for now. I might, hop back on if I have something I want to talk about again, because that's kind of the only reason I'd even hop on streaming. Unless, of course, I get a larger audience, or I doubt that'll ever happen. But if it does ever happen, I'd hop on more. But more so right now, I just kind of want to talk about things that I see happening and get my thoughts out there. At the very least, get my thoughts out there, um, able to be seen. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap things up here. I think as well I will start posting these potential clips, right, to YouTube or whatever. But I don't exactly know because it is kind of me yapping. I'm not, I'm just kind of staring at a static screen that doesn't move. It's just me yapping with no background, um, like music or anything, nothing going on that is brain rotted enough for people to pay attention to, which I think is a major issue in society as well. People just getting more and more stupid. But we'll see. I'll definitely at least check out what I've said, maybe potentially clip some of it. I don't know yet. We'll see though. But yeah, for now, kind of just want to go chill. So I'll see y'all get. No one's here, but I will be back on some other time. I'll definitely be. Guess is it called tweeting anymore? I don't know. I'll definitely be posting about it on X if I do another stream. Um, I think you can even stream on here. I'm not sure. I might look into that, but we'll see. We'll see later. Because maybe I could get more traction here as well. Because this place is unhinged. Well, yeah, I am based in America. But thank you. Let me. Anyways, I will see y'all later. Even though there's no one here.